All right. That's what we get. Why do I hear myself in an echo? I don't like that. Do I have two on? Do I have monitor? Okay, now I can. That was weird. I don't like that. Properties. Okay. Well, I guess it is what it is. Alright. No, whatever. See here. I don't like that at all. Why do I hear a double echo? Something's open? What would be open where I would be hearing? What about? Okay. That one doesn't work. Okay, it's just this one. No filters. Is that better? Ah, there we go. Ah, turn the monitoring off. I want to hear myself talk. I can already hear myself talk. Alright, we'll go here. Alright, sorry, I got that taken care of. Getting
Said that you are bullish. I mean, I'm
Mitt
bullish as
put
well.
up
I think there's
here.
a better chance for a pump than not, given this thing is,
Gonna
we
listen
spent
to
all of last week
him.
at 225. Now it's at
Oh,
211. Fell to
I
208
was on
yesterday. Like, it
mute.
just feels
Oh,
artificial,
I can still hear
and it
myself.
feels like there's a better chance that it comes higher.
No.
But we are going to have to see. Meta right there, that's up 1%. Apple, that's up 0.5%. SanDisk, that's up 3%. And then Micron, that's up 2. The other big thing for NVIDIA, so first of all, let's just talk about the actual NVIDIA earnings that the market is looking for in terms of the numbers. By the way, before we do that
Okay.
real quick, Trump continues to
Oh, that's what
troll
monitoring
Canada.
was. Oh, I'm a dummy.
Quote 2 hours ago, the United States is giving serious consideration to changing the name of Lake, and that we don't expect to do much business with Ontario any longer. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Okay.
I mean, again, like when you talk about trolls, I think he's is one of the bigger ones, but it further goes back and forth with what uh, Canada and the U.S. have been doing when it comes to fighting each other. Now, Canada's trade minister came out this morning and said, "We are focused on having a constructive relationship with the United States. We would want to have the best situation with all U.S. trade partners, and the government's intention is to announce retaliatory tariffs today." So I think we're going to have further retaliatory tariffs coming from Canada. And I think the U.S. will probably fight that back and forth as well. But eventually, I think they will come to a deal because, again, I don't think this
This
makes
guy
any
is
sense.
very positive. You said that about
And there's
Iran
just
for
too
the
much.
past
Um, there's too much trade we do with these guys.
4
There's too much
months.
trade, and it's going to be very unlikely for me to see that this actually goes the wrong way. Now, in terms of Nvidia, what are we looking for? So, revenue, $92 billion. This is what Jensen basically got it for. Adjusted EPS, $2.09.
Firmable.
Q3 revenue estimate, $104 billion. The options implied move is actually lower than expected. 5.4%. Usually it's around 8%. So we might not actually get a ton of volatility going into the earnings after the print. Maybe that's the way we do get a lot of volatility because usually there's been so many implied moves and we don't get a big move, or we get a dump tomorrow, or we get a dump the day after. Maybe this time, because there's less of an implied vol, if there's really good numbers, it's not baked in, and then people actually get excited and they buy it up, and maybe you actually get a pump versus not. I'm just trying to think of all the different ways that Nvidia actually gets a move on earnings, given we know the number is going to be great. But the broader question is going to be, can they execute against these numbers? And based on what Raymond James thinks, they upgraded the price target to 352 from 330. They've said NVIDIA has increased its visibility in CPUs, even if they are not a new part of the story. By the way, NVIDIA announced with SpaceX, we talked about it yesterday, that SpaceX will be using the Vera CPU exclusively for their products as well. So you have more demand coming from SpaceX.
See what today brings.
For 2027, that product will launch. However, CPUs represent a low single-digit % of NVIDIA sales, roughly 3% today. In the past, NVIDIA CPUs were tightly tied to its GPUs, but that should change, particularly with agentic use cases. That's why ARM, Intel, AMD have been getting so much momentum when it comes to the CPU market. While NVIDIA's CPU revenue is becoming material within the CPU market, we expect to reach approximately 5% of total revenue by calendar year 2028 in our model. Still a single-digit portion, yet the growth is the fastest among the elements that we model. I think NVIDIA is going to guide really well for CPU growth. I think their overall trajectory of growth is going to be strong. I think they're going to hit that triple-digit growth. If not triple digits, probably 95, 98%. And if they get there, I think the market is going to be excited about that. So I think, and the stock is, if the stock is flat and we get triple-digit growth, the multiple is going to compress probably another 2 or 3 points. I mean, once again, I think you'll have some buyers at some point. It's just we have to get through a lot of these macro concerns that are still in the picture. Also, you have war speaking on Friday, so even if NVIDIA does get a good move, it's like, well, war affects the entire market, so will that be suppressed before we see what we get from war? So this will be important, and we're going to see how the broader market ultimately reacts to that. Bitcoin still down right here, below 79,000 now, actually taking a pretty big drop, about 3,000 points from where it was last night. Michael Saylor continues the onslaught of AI videos. This is what he posted yesterday.
If you've been investing in gold or real estate, you need to hear this. Gold is heavy. You cannot bring it on a plane. No. You cannot send gold to your friend in South Africa via the internet. Real estate has huge maintenance costs. You need to repair them all the time. And what if a hurricane blows your house away? Or a flood, or both? But if you have Bitcoin, you can send it anywhere with your phone in a second. And there is no hurricane that can blow your Bitcoin away. Buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin is better. Send this to your friend. If you've been...
I mean, honestly, now that Bitcoin's rallying, I think these videos piss off less people. It still probably pisses off a lot of people, but now at least, you're seeing your bag go up. You're happier seeing positive content on Bitcoin. I think now he's got to be pumping out as many of these AI videos as possible, and maybe that helps something with sentiment because, maybe the videos are interpreted better when Bitcoin's going up. But it really is ironic to me that Bitcoin's down as the 10-year comes down. And if the 10-year further comes down, it's great for stocks. But if it's not great for Bitcoin, then this is going to be one of those moments where the rally might get stalled out here. So I think some more price action over the next coming weeks is going to be super important. But it got through 80 easily last night. It went all the way up to 81.2. So once it made its run, it made its run pretty aggressively. Just ended up getting rejected early this morning as well. Yeah, they do have $2 billion as they raised a lot more cash yesterday by selling more shares in the public markets. None of you guys are complaining about ads, so that is good. Maybe we fixed the YouTube midstream ad thing. Hopefully that is fixed. Usually by now, early in the stream, a lot more of you guys would have said you saw an ad. So I think that's fixed. I adjusted a couple settings last night. Hopefully that works. But if not, then you can let me know. Mike, and thank you. That is very kind. You did not have to do that. Thank you for the gifted 50 memberships. 50 of you guys just got memberships due to Mike and Sir Lant. You got a membership. Jets, you got a membership. Samuel Taylor, you got a membership. Nick, you got a membership. Steven, Crypto Coffee, Mick, Sam Arsenal, GP Dave, Polytake, Kite, bunch of you guys. G Alaska, Leon Wood. YouTube just picks people randomly to give a membership to. I don't know how their algo decides who to give a membership to. It's very random. I think it's like if you comment in the chat a lot, you get a membership. I don't really know how it happens. There's nothing you get for being a member of the channel. It's just $5 a month to support the channel, but there's not like any exclusive videos or anything. But appreciate that, Mike. It means a lot. So yeah, you get a car. You get a car. Thank you for that. So you've given memberships like every single week. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the membership.
I'm just balancing my portfolios right now.
For spreading some of the blessings around for everyone to get it. S&P 500 right there. We are green in the pre-market. Again, S&P has been on a losing streak. NVIDIA also, if NVIDIA goes red today, it's going to be their longest losing streak since 2019. It's already the longest losing streak 7 days in a row since 2022. So if we actually do get some more red, then it would be the longest losing streak in a while. By the way, I've been looking more into Cerebras. I found this out last night. I can't buy it, dude. I cannot buy it. Look at their lockup schedule. For the next 7 weeks, 7, 7, 7, 9, 9, 9, 21% of their shares get unlocked. I just can't do it, even if I'm kind of interested in the name. First of all, I already hate the valuation. Then I'm like, oh, 8% of shares outstanding get unloaded in the public markets that people are obviously going to want to take some profits on because they've been holding on to this thing for a decade. Like, it's tough, man, with these IPOs. And I'm going to be very curious about Anthropic's IPO schedule as well, about like how Anthropic is dumping these shares into the public markets and if they're happening all at once or it's kind of like SpaceX. But I just do not want to be liquidity for someone who bought this company 10 years ago when no one knew what inference was. Now everyone knows what it is. So it's important, but it's like the alpha's not there like it was 10 years ago. And that person from 10 years ago needs someone to buy their bags. And unless you think Cerebras is going to massively outperform, which I think it can, but the valuation already makes it feel hard to buy. Same thing with SpaceX and Anthropic. Like all these names, multi-trillion-dollar valuation. Cerebras is at 44 billion, but still trades at 115 times sales. It's a little hard to be excited to buy those names. 190 right there in the pre-market is that's up 2.9% as well. SpaceX, which was down a little bit yesterday, that is up 1.6%. Rocket Lab took an ugly. I was thinking of selling puts on Rocket Lab because it is bounced on 57, basically below 60 every time this year when it's gotten there. It was at 68 yesterday. If this thing actually gets closer to the low 60s, I think I'll be selling puts because I just don't think it would stay there in the midst of the progress they've made and with SpaceX kind of normalizing around this 120, 130 range. But it's up a little bit in the pre-market with all the other high beta stocks. 69.91 was at 70. Hopefully can get back above 70. Bloom also got a nice little bounce from the lows of yesterday. Gavin Baker loves it. Yeah, but Gavin Baker has also had Cerebras for a long time. Same with SpaceX, right? He's owned those names for a decade now, which just
All right,
makes it
nothing
a little
else
tough
is closer.
be fully excited.
Someone just messaged
they have
me.
a heavy margin of safety
Boing.
on these stocks. Okay, let's talk about Dix. So stock is down
Consensus.
20.6% right here. They missed on revenue by 1%. They missed on EPS by 9%. Street wanted 383. They came in at 353. Comparable sales were up 5%. Their guidance was a little bit lower than expected, down 2%.
All right.
And basically they said the consumer is having some issues. Now, this is not the first company that said the consumer is having some issues. Some companies have said the consumer is having no issues, but there is a little bit more of a broader focus on athletic footwear that is causing some trouble with Dix. We are all adults here, and we are analyzing Dix, okay? I don't know why you guys are making a big deal out of it. It's a public company. We're analyzing it. Quote, conditions across portions of the athletic footwear and apparel marketplace become increasingly promotional. This environment had a more significant impact on the Foot Locker business, given its greater exposure to legacy footwear business. They acquired Foot Locker, I think it was in 2024 or early 2025. And greater dependence on footwear launch and retro product. Not only were there fewer launches in the second quarter, but those launches performed below both industry and our expectations. While we are taking a more cautious view of the balance of the year, we remain highly confident in the strength of the Dick's business and our long-term opportunity at Foot Locker. So yeah, people aren't buying shoes anymore. And quite frankly, I get it. Like, who really, put in the chat if you've bought a new pair of sneakers or heels or slippers or something in the past 6 months. Not the past year, the past 6 months. In the past, or 2026. So far in 2026, who's bought a new pair of footwear? Because like, who's really buying this stuff anymore? Like, once you get a pair of sneakers, you get a pair of sneakers. Like, do you really need 17 pairs of sneakers? Do you need that much footwear? Right? Like, so I kind of like, we already know Nike has been, you know, falling off and their brand sales have been down. And like, I don't know the last time I went to a Foot Locker. If I really need to get something,
Everything
I'll order it
seems
off
to be
Amazon.
down today.
And,
Alright.
you know, again, it's like
So
once,
let's look here.
maybe every year, usually every 2 years. Like, you just, I think I bought new shoes in September.
Thanks a minute. But I'm gonna let you go for a minute. HBI. So tomorrow's the most important. We're waiting for basic materials, healthcare, consumer defense. Okay. So this is Wednesday. This is what we're looking for tomorrow. The more important stuff for us here is going to be the core PCE, the preliminary GDP. Rest of this will be numbers that'll give us a clue, but through here, S&P Composite, not really too worried. I've got quite a bit of these, so hopefully those are good. That would be nice. And then now let's look at the sector rotations here. That's interesting that he was just talking about. Let's go back. Let's see here. This part is quite interesting to me. There.
It once again becomes an ownership thing. Either you own assets or not. If you do, that's helping. If not, then it's not helping as much. But it once again goes to this argument about bond yields and who is actually suffering with yields going higher, and it is the bifurcated nature of this economy and what it also affects. I also saw this stat that I thought was interesting. You know how people aren't drinking anymore? Well, they're definitely smoking a ton of weed. Marijuana smoking hits a record high in the U.S. It's reached 17%, more than double the 7% reported in 2023. Cigarette smoking remains at a record low of 11%. 9% of adults vape and 4% use nicotine pouches. And marijuana is highest among younger adults, with about 25% of 30 to 49-year-olds using marijuana. Americans view it positively, 47%.
Cool.
See it as something that's good, while 46% see it as something that's negative. I think this is important because, look, if the U.S. can actually build a real
5
industry
minutes. Here we go.
weed, which it was illegal for so long, and now it's slowly getting legalized in every state and decriminalized, it's another business opportunity. Obviously, the weed stocks had their run in 2020, and it kind of faded since then. But if more people are smoking versus drinking, there might be some more opportunities around marijuana as a business perspective versus alcohol itself. All of that is California. Wasn't it Massachusetts that, which, yes, I still can't say the stupid state name, but it wasn't that the first state to, well, no, that was the second state after California to legalize it, I think. It was California, Massachusetts, and then I think New Jersey was up there a couple years ago that legalized, and then New York. But those were like the first couple states that actually legalized it. Well, thank you for the super chat, Amit. I can smell that pumpkin candle from here. Wealth is talking about the pumpkin cupcake candle that I showed on the market close yesterday that I bought along with these new AirPods when I was at the store yesterday because they were at the counter. I don't have it with me because it's in my living room, but I'm happy you can smell the pumpkin cupcake. Dude, it's fall. It's the greatest part of the year, September through December. I mean, we're not at September yet, but we're basically there. It's time to bust out the pumpkins and have things smell the right way. So I'm excited. But also, this year has gone by quick, man. This year has felt so long with all the volatility, but it's also gone by so freaking quick. Like, the fact that we're about to enter 2027 is kind of crazy, but it is happening. We got a report right here from Al Jazeera. Iran has reportedly communicated its negotiating conditions, including terms concerning the Strait of Hormuz. Quite frankly, for those that are just joining, the headline that we got this morning is the U.S. reportedly offered Iran a deal. I know we've heard this headline a billion times, but a deal to halt the siege and lift sanctions in exchange for reopening the strait. If Iran, which I'm getting the headline just now 3 minutes ago, is reportedly negotiating different conditions and communicating that to the Pakistanis, which will then communicate that to the United States. Yeah, Iran informed the United States of its position on the Strait of Hormuz through Pakistani intermediaries. Maybe we'll get oil. Wow, Marvell just got a big candle. Maybe we'll get oil to come down.
All right, I'll be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom before it starts.
Green. And maybe we can kind of get out of this funk. NVIDIA right there. That's up. Marvell. That is at 237 as well. If you stop, we'll stop. Yeah, exactly. I know this headline is so old and so boring, and I've said it a billion times on the show, thinking that it would be different every time. But all those times the bond market wasn't screaming. This time, I think Trump and dissent know. If the $1 trillion of buybacks to create liquidity in bond yields couldn't do anything to get yields to come down, if Druckenmiller writing an op-ed, Druckenmiller, dissent's mentor, basically saying this is nonsense, can't do anything, then they're going to have to end the war. Like, if those two things can't solve the situation, we're going to need the war to come to an end and get the oil to start coming down, which is what we're seeing in the pre-market, and that's why I think stocks green. Joanne says, I love the fall in New England. I think fall weather. Even today, I was walking this morning, dude. It's starting to get colder. Like, you don't need like a hoodie or anything outside yet, but like, it's not the same type of heat that you usually get at 7 a.m. in the morning in Jersey like you did in July. You're starting to get a little bit of that wind, which is like the perfect weather to walk in, but it's not as hot anymore. Bloom right there. That's up 4%, 215. Bitcoin continues to fall, 78,687. This is what Bassent said yesterday around Iran and this new economic D-Day agenda that he's trying to impose on the Iranians.
And let me be clear, any entity that facilitates money laundering on behalf of Iran will be removed from the US dollar system. The clock just started ticking. The new sectoral sanctions determinations issued today target 5 of Iran's most vital lifelines that it exploits in other countries: digital assets, technology, gold, aviation, and shipping. These measures broaden secondary sanctions risk for anyone foolish enough to continue conducting business with this regime and will accelerate the speed with which we pursue them. As I speak, Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control is also sanctioning over 60 entities, individuals, and vessels around the world that enable the Iranian regime to procure illicit nuclear and missile technology,
All right, big
conduct
sell.
cyber operations, and generate oil revenue. This is a sustained campaign to collapse every last option for Iran.
I think a lot of this yesterday was kind of just for show. Like, if they're actually negotiating, this is just the United States, like, putting this out there. Hey, we're going to create economic pressure. But if the terms of the deal that are being reported are accurate today, which is the U.S. is offering to get rid of those sanctions in exchange for opening the Strait of Hormuz,
Been open
then
1 minute
a
here.
lot of this is just to say that we're going to do this, but in reality, they want to get rid of the sanctions and get Iran to the table. And quite frankly, it would be the most Trump thing ever, as we have 1 minute until the market opens, if they get a deal right before the midterms. You know, midterms are in November. If they get a deal by like mid-September, October, probably not going to happen in the next couple of weeks. Right before the midterms, that would be something where Trump tries to claim victory for it going into the midterm season. And so if that happens, you know, maybe that's another tailwind for markets. But ultimately, over the next coming weeks, we're going to see if that actually plays out. All right, we've got 15 seconds. Thank you all for being here on this Tuesday morning. Because you are all here and you all
I went
showed
short
up,
here.
which I am deeply, deeply grateful for, you should refute the mute because the stock market is now open. All right, wake your asses up. Let's get into it. S&P 500 opens up 766 on the day, up about 0.35%. If we can get to 770, that would be incredible. Maybe we don't get there before NVIDIA earnings, but that would be, I think, kind of the key level that we're looking for here. Micron opens up 2%, 932. That's green. SanDisk, which was down 10% yesterday, 1536. That's up 2.9%. That is green. Apple, that is also green. Meta, 565. That's green. Meta, can we get to 570?
Oh.
Nebius, which got upgraded today by Goldman Sachs, that's up 3.7%. United Airlines, that's up 2.9. The airlines are up as oil is down. Quite frankly, I think there's a trade to be made in the airlines.
He's off a little. Oh, I'm off a little.
Red, as it is seeing some pain on their consumer discretionary footwear purchases not being well. Marvell, 241.60. That's up 5%. NVIDIA, 210. That's up a little bit. SpaceX, which got upgraded to 240 by JP Morgan. I have not used Grok Bot yet, but enough people are talking about it to the point where I think I'm probably going to sign up soon and see if I can automate a part of my workflow with the bot, given how much people are excited about on it. But JP Morgan was basically saying we are increasingly positive on Grok. Also, there was a report yesterday that Elon had an all-hands meeting with the Cursor team and basically said Grok is falling behind and I'm not used to losing. And he's basically saying figure it out and make Grok the leading frontier LLM. And so obviously Elon's really excited and he wants Grok to be able to win and compete with Anthropic and OpenAI and all those other guys. 136.94 on SpaceX. That's up 1.94%. Palantir, 177. Bloom continuing to get some love right there, 4.5%. Let's see if we can get up to 215. Let's see if we can break through that. It was almost at 220 in the pre-market. Trump just tweeted, based on my very good relationship with Kim Jong-un of North Korea, I was not happy with the fact that the United States had long ago agreed to participate in joint military exercises with South Korea. The exercises are not only costly with much of the cost paid for by the United States, but send a signal that it is totally inappropriate and hostile. Therefore, and based on the fact he tweeted this already. Same tweet. It's the same thing. I've instructed Pete Hegseth to substantially reduce the joint military exercises. I recently asked the president of South Korea if they would like to join us in the denuclearization of Iran. They said no. Yeah, this was a tweet that came out last week. I don't know why he tweeted it again, but we covered this last week. Yeah, that looks like a mistake, but that tweet is not necessarily new. Uber 7930. Wow, Marvell. There's no news on this thing, but look at her go. 6.5% as that continues to go green.
Still
Yeah,
just waiting.
it's an old tweet. It's not a retweet either. Like it's a new tweet on his side. It's just the same content from last week. Marvell 244. Was there a headline I missed on that? But I don't think I did. It's just a very nice run up. It looks like a lot of buying here. Maybe the street's thinking there's going to be some announcement. United Airlines, that's up 2%. AAOI, that's up 4%. App Lovin, are we getting back above 300? 305, that's up 2% at least. That's getting some love. Iran, we've got earnings this week. Let's see if this can make a move. That's up 3%, fell below 40 last night. Oh, it does have earnings this week. You're right. That's on Thursday. Oh, dude, that's right after NVIDIA. On NVIDIA, by the way, we also have CrowdStrike, Salesforce, Okta, Synopsys, and HP. So we actually have a lot of companies with NVIDIA reporting that are going to be important. And then on Thursday, we have Affirm, Workday, Ulta, Rubrik, Marvell, Iren, and Gap. So you do have a decent chunk of reporting after NVIDIA earnings. Palantir 176, NVIDIA 211, at least NVIDIA trying to get the breakout to 212. Marvell keeps going, 243. Hoodie 107. As that is coming back. BTC, nice green candle is 79. Let's see maybe if 80 is in play going into today. Again, it was at 81,000 last night. Why is Navitas up 10%? I do not know. That's interesting. It was up 7.5. Again, a lot of the high beta names are getting some love as oil comes down and the 10-year relaxes a little bit. Rocket Lab ended up just going red. So I would imagine, wow, Rocket Lab actually losing a decent chunk of the move here. 69 all the way down to 68.20. But yeah, if we see a high beta rally in general today, from oil being down, I don't think it would be that crazy. Zeta's down 2. Some of your software names selling off. Ondas down 0.5%. Elf, that's down 1. Estee Ladar, that's basically flat. Rosenblatt upgraded Marvell to 300 today. You know, this thing got to 330 just off a Jensen comment. I wonder if they actually start putting up some meaningful growth. That might be a better shot for it to go higher. Navitas signed an acquisition to acquire Claros for AI power. Okay. So that's right there on Navitas as it's losing a good chunk of those gains, but still up 5%, 1340 to 1288 as it's going down. Oracle, I don't even think we looked at Oracle yesterday. 145. This is when kind of stuck there.
You can do
Burry again is short Oracle, CoreWeave, and Nebius, along with Micron. Oracle, I think he shorted around this level, so this has kind of been stuck here. Rocket Lab just falling off a cliff, 67.77 as that goes red. ASTS, which had a nasty day yesterday, that's also red again, 62 as that continues to go down. Nike's getting a move. No, Nike's going down with Dick's. Netflix, are we getting a move? Netflix actually getting above 80. Airbnb is probably up. Airbnb is hitting, I think, is this an all-time high? Airbnb is, yeah, basically an all-time high. Well, no. In February 2021, it was $212. It took 5 years to even kind of get close to 200 again. But definitely a 52-week high on Airbnb. Airbnb, Netflix, some of your consumer staples getting some love. Bloom again, 215. Apple, 310. That's falling off a little bit from 312. And then Palantir. We did see 180 last week. Marvell's still holding 244. We got up to 246. AMD, that's up 4%, but Palantir was not able to hold above 180 this week yet. AMD 472 is what you're seeing. Celsius also, I know this one's been annoying this year, but ever since that Rockstar founder came in and bought a bunch of stock, we started to see this one get a lot more love. Is Schwab down again for people? You guys saying Schwab might be down. SMCI, that's up 6%. Again, a lot of these names, this is kind of my point about Anthropic when they go public. It's going to be in a bucket with all these other companies. So like SMCI was down 7% yesterday. Why? I mean, because the whole bucket was down. It's up 7%. Wow, Moderna getting a nice little move right here, up 7%. But now it's up 7% because high beta stocks are up. Like, I feel like that's how Anthropic's going to trade. And it's going to be one of those things where you have to ride it up or down in the context of where the momentum is actually going. Bitmine, that's up 2% as well. Moderna, there's a lot of option flow coming in on Moderna. That's like $180, $200, $170.
Waiting
And it's like
patiently.
sizable amounts. It's almost like people think that.
Yeah. Turn it off from there. I like to listen to the open here. Now we are in a pretty big uptrend. Oh, what are we gonna do? All right. Let's see what happens. I'm just chilling, just waiting. Typically, if it moves back over here, I'm gonna do a stretch. Oh, yeah, I don't like that. Let's see what it sets a new high or low. Is it a high or low? Is it at a high or high? It's got to go one way or another. I feel like I'm on the wrong side now, but we'll hold. If I just go here, oh no, not good. AMD. Oh yeah, see, pushing up hard there. Just slowly building back up here. We got good news. Oh yeah, I'm in the wrong way for sure. Yeah, it's pumping right now.
Halfway point reached.
Let's see. Breaking out here. Looks like I'm gonna be wrong. See what's gonna happen here. Just gotta be patient. Yeah, quick jump. All right, it's pushing for me a little bit here.
Almost there. You can do it.
Is it gonna hold or is it gonna fold? What are we looking at here? TE is up. AMD is up. See how it's bounced off of its 10 there?
Target reached.
Is this where it's going to bounce and go back up? What are we doing here? Oh, it's being brought back up here. Do we think? Let's stop doing that right there. MD. Okay. What's going on this morning? Tech. Tech is up big. Healthcare, industrials.
how you do them. Up, overhead, overhead press. There you go. And then look here. Cross and go. Back down.
This is starting to look bearish, but we're just pulling this candle now. Is it actually going to go below the 20 here? Pulling back to it again. Do we bounce? Or do we crash? As it tightens up in here, this is going to be the big holding the 10 and the 20 right there, just barely. Okay. See, bouncing off the 10 and the 20 here. Oh, big bump again. Oh, we're pulling back from that line. best way.
New money because they have new services to offer. Get it? The feet. Smell. Because feet are smelly. Anyway, 81.31 on Netflix. That's up 1.62%. Palantir, 178, 1.25% as that continues to go green as well. Nabesis, 217, as that is also that is also green, 3.27%. Guys, by the way, tomorrow we are having a reporter from the Wall Street Journal sit in the back of this room and watch the market open because she's doing an article on, like having CRML. Still slightly flat. CRML got $240,000 worth. It's a slight beat. We also have some consumer confidence data. Let's pull this. And I show up on time tomorrow. I need everyone in the chat to be like, wow, it's great. Thanks for being here on time. You know, we don't need her thinking that I've been late for the past 4 years when it comes to this show. So tomorrow I will be on my best behavior. You guys be on your best behavior.
It doesn't mean it's not going to bounce
I
again.
make a joke, you guys laugh. That's how, you know, that's what we need to do tomorrow. Richmond Fed manufacturing survey. Let's pull this up. It looks like it's a slight beat. We also have some consumer confidence data. Let's pull this up right here and see how the market is reacting.
90.2, so less than expectations. Sequentially, obviously less than our last look. 89.4 would be the least since January. 89.0, second weakest of the year. Present situation, well, this is the bright spot. 121.2, significantly higher than expectations, significantly higher than a slight revision of 114.4 in the rearview mirror, and that would be the best overall performance since April, where over 124. And finally, on expectations or what lies ahead, this one, very similar to the headline, comes in deficient, 68.2.
I don't really have any notes
looking for a
here.
number over 74. 68.2 would be the lightest, going back to, wow, you have to go back a ways. 68.2 would be the lightest since January, when it was 67.2, so second weakest of the year, sequentially lower than 74.0. Very quickly, Richmond Fed for August comes in light at 4. And if we look at the business side or the service side, well under expectations at -12. That would be the weakest level of the year, going all the way back to November. But manufacturing,
but I think Bitcoin is starting to weaken, so
another positive anecdotal brick into the wall of recovery in manufacturing.
it's not really anything.
Yes, we have our July read on new
I'm
home
interested
sales.
in. That list would have been nice.
We go to Diana Olick. Diana?
NVIDIA.
607,000 new home sales in July, seasonally adjusted annualized rate. That's a miss. The street was looking for 615. On the other hand, though, June's number was revised up from 628,000 to 678,000. So we're down 10.5% month to month and down 6.3%.
Broke that channel, I got out.
Inventory is
Dropped
rising.
farther.
In July, it was 488,000. This is 1.9% above June and 1.6% year over year higher. And that represents a 9.6-month supply at the current sales pace, which is high. 6 is considered a balanced market. Median sale price of a newly sold home in July was $393,800. This is 2.3% below June and is 0.9% down year over year. Now, this count is based on signed contracts, so it's people.
Okay, so you got a miss on home builders, a slight miss on Richmond Fed, and a slight miss on consumer confidence. So you got 3 misses right there. And then you have freaking OpenAI coming out with this statement. I don't know if this is going to help NVIDIA or not. OpenAI claims its new chips can outperform NVIDIA processors in tests. What new chips are they talking about? Are they talking about the chips they're working with Cerebras, the chips they're working on with Microsoft, the chips they're working on with Broadcom?
It just looks pretty strong. Spot back up, spot back up, spot back up.
All right. Semi-Analysis just put out an article. I think they're talking about the jalapeno chips with Cerebras. No, with Broadcom. With Broadcom. Yeah. Okay. So this is from Semi-Analysis with Broadcom. This is not really the best thing for NVIDIA. This is for everyone wondering why Jensen's pushing open source, is because he's really annoyed that one of his
big
biggest
scoop right there.
customers, OpenAI, is now competing with him by building their own custom chips, which is why he's competing with their model business. Okay, so this is coming from Semi-Analysis. I'm seeing the article right now. OpenAI has spent the past couple years quietly building Jalapeno, and Inference Strip just announced 2 months ago. Rumors of a successful tape-out had been swirling for a while, but now we have the details as OpenAI invited Semi-Analysis to go to their labs and check how real it is. Wow, okay. So if they actually invited the largest semiconductor research firm to take a look at these chips, and now this article is basically saying it's better than certain NVIDIA processors. Yeah, that's something the market's probably going to pay attention to. Now, it's not an immediate red candle on NVIDIA. It's not like OpenAI is going to stop buying their chips. But once again, it's the one bear case on NVIDIA that's something you can't ignore. Ultimately, when you have 75% margins, people are going to try to go after a margin, whether it's Trainium, TPUs, this Jalapeno thing with Broadcom, Cerebras. Like, you're not going to have those margins forever. And I think at some point the discount on NVIDIA is because the market's feeling like that margin will not be there for the next 5 to 10 years, which is fine. The margins are supposed to come down a bit, but how quickly and how aggressively does that happen? Yeah, this entire article is going into the ASICs. I'm looking at all these different specs they're showing off right now. Zeta, that's down 2.4%. Netflix, that's down 1.2%. The SPY wasn't really affected that much by the Richmond Fed stuff. I mean, you got a couple red candles, but overall still green on the day, 765. The housing sales miss was obvious. I mean, it's tough right now in the housing market. It's not going to get any better with the 10-year yield pushing 4.7 because mortgage rates are basically at 7% at this point. Robinhood's still at 108, or 107.60, but it's not like it's new information to the market. That is interesting. Jalapeno will ship with HBM4, making this chip one of the relatively early adopters
Just
after
being
NVIDIA
patient
and AMD.
here. IDR. Okay, sold down. We gapped down, pushing back up. Google starting to fade. SoFi pushing back up again. I hope we can hold that 10. That would be nice. XBM pushing back up again, but I could see it fluctuate for a while here now. Just got to be patient here. Starting to lose that 10. Well, are we gonna lose it, or are we gonna bounce off the 20 again? They're defending that 20. What's gonna happen? Alright, we're just waiting here. This is it. This is the game. Just wait. Two other things. Oh, pushing down. Are they going to hold or is it going to bounce back?
Wall Street Journal going to call and cancel now? Dude, that'd be so funny if they canceled. It was actually supposed to happen last week, but something came up. Be funny. She's like, "Yeah, I saw your stream yesterday. You know, I just think, you know, maybe we'll do this another time." I'd be like, "You don't have to say anything. I know. I understand. I understand." SoFi 1859, as that is still below 19, but at least it's up. Again, this jalapeno news, this is kind of the biggest thing this morning. Broadcom not reacting to it, and Nvidia not really reacting to it either. China rejects the planned U.S. sanctions expansion and said it would safeguard its rights and interests. The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman said that he opposed the sanctions. China has called them illegal. China remains the largest buyer of Iranian oil through trade, though trade has declined under the U.S. blockade. The economic minister of Iran said that Iran was prepared and had a wider 2-year plan to manage some of these sanctions. Okay, so I mean, look, this is a big deal because China buys the majority of the oil from Iran, right? So if China's not really on board with it, which they were never going to be on board with this, but if they're not even willing to cooperate, Epsilon up 13%. These insider buys continue to be bullish. You know, the U.S. is going to have to ask themselves how seriously can we implement this strategy if we're not going to get some support from anyone else. Wow, Dick's down 26%. Goodness. 25.7 off I mean, it wasn't that big of a miss on EPS. It was 5%. And then they said footwear is slowing down a bit, like 20.
Well, okay. There's a big. Are we going to rebound back up for a huge day, or are we going to pull back to the Oh no.
some of these neoclouds.
Is all of this political backlash factoring into the conversations around materiality, risk factors in terms of really financing this build out?
Leslie, good morning, and thank you guys so much for having me this morning. Just like any other big infrastructure project, railways, highways, toll roads, data centers require community support, and that is just one of the vectors of risk that you need to assess whenever you're doing a big infrastructure project. So whether that's community support, appropriate zoning, entitlement, having the right support from the financing markets, the right sort of contract structure, there are always a series of risks whenever you have a financing project in infrastructure, and it's up to the finance markets, banks, private credit, institutional markets to make sure that those risks are appropriately mitigated before you go and lend what is now pretty frequently multiple billions of dollars to a given build in a given market.
Is it changing the
Bro, what is semi-analysis doing? I just saw the headline picture, the thumbnail they used for this article. What is this, dude? Look at this. What are they doing? Lisa Sue and Jensen crying with Sam Altman and Hawk Tan holding a jalapeno? Like,
What
is
is
that
going on?
just me, or is that kind of cringe, bro?
That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh. Waiting to see if 2 more minutes is when I would normally finish. Sometimes I'm done in 30 minutes, sometimes an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. What does it do from here? Does it build up? Or does it continue to fall throughout the rest of the day? So I'll give it until 11 o'clock max to see if it goes one way or another. But it looks like it's still building up between my red and green, and it's touched each side so far. In a generally overall uptrend, so if it closes over 475.12, I might. Oh, sorry. That was loud. My alarm. So what we're looking for here is it gonna hold that 10? Or 20? Well, that's a pretty massive. It's the opposite of what I was thinking for, but maybe that was the last flush out before it runs. That could potentially what we're looking at there.
Or maybe I'm making too much of it.
Like it flushes out and then it'll press back up again. That halfway point is right here. Excuse me. Yeah, see, it's pushing back up. We'll see where it goes from there. Is there anything else that I want to do right now? Oh, see, huge candle right there. Big green candle. So this is the buyers pushing back. See, same thing from back here. Now, is that the last push before they short again? See what I mean? At the lower low. So we get a buy here. It could be out in the next 5-10 minutes. Starting to separate here. Yeah, boom, big up. We're not done yet, but Yeah, I called that. Dang. See? Should have known. So that's a lower low. And we're following those moving averages, but is this a lower high? Or does this start to create a higher high? If this starts to create a higher high, I'm out. Just being patient. Such a small volume amount. It's interesting to me. Oh, I guess it's still building up. Guess if it just builds up and people are willing to pay more and more, then good. Full force effect, no mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Wow. I could have traded in those, but I'm going for a bigger move, so created a lower high so far. But do we have another? Do we have a higher low? Or just waiting? No, I'm massively invested in. Oh, IBIT. The most call options yesterday, so I made a good amount on IBIT. Look at that move on IBIT right there. I got out all of it here. I took pieces all the way up. What did I get on that one? Yeah. Yeah, that's ten more minutes. Here's what I'm gonna leave you guys with. I'm gonna leave you with a nip for a minute. I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
You have to now show the market that you're worthy of getting a higher multiple. No, I'm not adding here, especially not before earnings. You just never know, right? If it really takes like a 5-10% decline after earnings and it's like amazing numbers, maybe that's the place to add, but I don't think before earnings is the best. Sticks is still down 27% right here as this is still getting hit. Okay, so interesting dynamics. Consumer defensives are down. Trump continues to tweet about Canada. The Iran pseudo deal was kind of put into motion today with Pakistani intermediaries, which is why I think we're even seeing any green today. Oil is still down. The 10-year is at least under control. Palantir and software names are going red as honestly, it's not even the semis that are pumping. The crypto names are pumping. So maybe it's taking liquidity out of IGV and SMH together. SMH is still somewhat green on the day, still 1%. Just some of the semi names like Broadcom and NVIDIA losing their steam. Bloom as well, still up 3%, but down from 215. Melly, this one's actually been doing really good recently. Melly back above 2,000. Year to date, I think it's up a decent chunk now. No, it's still up 1% this year. Damn, it was at 2,200 in January, but over the past month, it's up 10%. Past 5 days, it's up 12%. So started to get a bigger breakout. I really, really wonder what's going to happen if we see a crypto breakout when it comes to the other sectors. Because the thing about crypto thing is, it's like if Bitcoin falls $3,000 tomorrow, all these crypto names are going to get hit. And it is just so volatile. And I don't think anyone fully knows if Bitcoin's actually going to break 80 and hold.
Pushed was a lower low, but now it's a higher low. We're pushing for that higher high. It hit right there. Six minutes left. Stopped it again. Easily gonna go up 0.5%. Could go up 0.5%. Probably will. Yeah, I just simply made the wrong read, wrong move. It's that simple. Oh, okay. Minute and a half, minute and a half. Certainly looking like going to be knocked out. Oh, big boom. Yep. Done. Well, that was a loss today. Poo poo, poo poo. I'm going to go walk the dogs like normal now. Thanks for watching. Peace.